It's time today to build your empire with Empire Today, the official sponsor of the PHNX Cardinals weekly mock draft. And look, it's a couple Monty Austin boards here, ready to hook you up with a draft unlike any other. I'm going to present my screen. Bo Brock, you let me know when you can see what I've got going on with our friends at the PFF Mock Draft Simulator.
There we go. Starting to load. You've already got us in the Cardinals war room. The Bears are on the board. Washington up next. The Patriots third. And the Arizona Cardinals picking in their fourth overall selection. Any want, Will, to jump up there and ensure Marvin Harrison Jr.? You're just going to let these draft dominoes fall?
Well, let's see. I mean, if we go to the New England Patriots and we just say, okay, what would it take? Could we throw pick 105 for 4 and 3? Would they be interested? Might be interested. Is that something you'd be willing to entertain, Bo Brock?
No.
Okay. No. Let's see. Maybe 137. Less likely. I say we roll the dice and we get this party started.
Let's do it. You can just see my bald head, by the way, sticking out.
A shocking selection. Rome Odunze going third overall to the New England Patriots. Things have gone horribly wrong for the people in Foxborough, and I like Rome Odunze. He's the best deep threat in this class, but inexplicably passing on MHJ, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, Jaden Daniels still available. What do you make of this situation?
It's just, this is dumb. I don't like this mock draft. It's not realistic.
Do you want to go back and start over?
I mean, let's just, I agree with Red Sea. Let's just take Marvin and move on.
Okay. Yeah, Jaden Daniels still available. We draft Marvin Harrison Jr. We fast forward to pick 27 for the Arizona Cardinals. And before we dive into who's available, somehow Jaden Daniels lasted all the way to pick 26. Something happened pre-draft. There might have been who's the player that fell to the Miami Dolphins that had that video that came out. Is that what's happening here in this
Laremy Tunsil? Yeah, did he have a gas mask bong?
Yeah, it might be that 2.0. Joe Alter's on new. What's happening in this draft? I'm going to start this over. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This has never looked like this before, and we're going to get this party started here. Mock draft simulator, perfect. We're going to go back in here. I might have tinkered around with some stuff before this, so we're going to go. Yeah,
Well, hold on. Take a look at that. Positional value, slider down, draft needs high. What are you doing?
Does that look good? Does that look good?
Take the randomness down as low as it
like
could possibly
less.
get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Draft for need, middle of the pack. All right, we're gonna try this again, folks. That was an embarrassment. I was embarrassed for everyone.
All right, we started. Here we go. With my bald head just peeking out over this logo. Can we swap this logo, by the way, to the other side of the screen for the next one? It's just Johnny doing his mock draft in a dumb bald cat. All right. Even more chaos. I'm losing a lot of faith.
This is real. This is semi-realistic, right? This is what we need to do. It's time to trade. The New York Giants potentially wanting to come up. They're interested in trading for Jaden Daniels. So obviously we go 4, we go 6, we go 39, we go 47, not interested. 70, not interested. 108.
You haven't even gotten a future first in there, and they're not interested. What's going on here?
I don't know what the hell's happening.
You got to start with the future first.
I think we force this trade here. I think you want to come up 2 spots, or do you want to just say teams interested? There's a lot of teams interested.
Well,
you want to talk to somebody else?
Let's talk to Atlanta.
All right, we're talking to Atlanta. 8, 43, a 1 next. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, all right. I agree with was it Daniel? Let's call up Mr. Desperate, Sean Payton in the Denver Broncos.
Okay, so here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing right here. We're going down here. We're getting nuts.
Johnny.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. I feel really good about this. We're forcing this trade, by the way. This is game 4. Is that enough for you?
Yes.
Patrick Surtain, a 1 next year, go down to 12. So basically it's 2 1s and Pat Surtain, but a swap of 1s included in there.
All right.
I think we do it. Force this trade. Oh, the trade went through, and the Cardinals have a 23-year-old all-pro corner. Thank you, Sean Payton. You are reckless, sir, and we will resume this draft at pick 12. All right, so a lot of talent went off the board. So as you can see here, Malik Neighbors, somehow went fourth, which is stupid. We're just going to pretend that's Jaden Daniels. Joe Alt's gone. Roma Dunze, Brock Bowers, Cooper DeJean, who's a PFF darling, snuck in there with Chicago. God help the people of CHGO if that were to happen. Looking at this list, Bo, anybody stick out to you where you could say, you know what, that's an investment I want to make?
I mean, it's really how you have these tackles scouted. Fuaga is kind of making his case, did during the Senior Bowl, to be tackle 3. So there he is, right for the pick, and at 12. And then it also comes down to how you have your corners ranked as well. You've got Wiggins, you've got a couple other guys on there down the board. I'm sure Quinyon Mitchell is there. But man, would Fuaga be? He would really bolster your offensive line, wouldn't he?
I think this is the pick here. I think
unless you
just
really love
value.
a Dallas Turner or Jared Verse at the edge rush position, I think Fuaga would be great bookend with Paris Johnson Jr.
You've already helped your defense exponentially by adding Pat Surtain. Now, I know he plays cornerback, but you will have assumed at this point, Bo, that they've addressed some semblance of a defensive line in free agency. Yeah. We still have Calvin Beachum penciled in with respect to him at right or left tackle. I think this is the play. The more you hear about him, the more you think that he could sneak into the top 10. I mean, you look at it, just a physical specimen, 6'6". He's bigger than Paris Johnson Jr. He's about the same size. Only allowed 2 hits this year. Hasn't given up a sack in 3 years as a member of the Oregon State Beavers. In the Pac-12, when they're playing Latu at UCLA and they're playing Washington and Oregon, and Arizona was ranked this year. I mean, they had a hard non-conference schedule. This is a supremely gifted player. And look at this. He's a ready-made NFL right tackle, which allows you to kick Paris Johnson Jr. over to the left side, Bo.
Yep, let's do it. Put him at his natural position in your offensive line. You can set it and forget it for the next 5 to 6 years, potentially. All right, so now we're down the board at 27th overall. Some interesting names here. Troy Franklin, Michael Pennant, or what am I saying? Why am I even mentioning Michael Pennant? He's not in the conversation, but he's still on the board.
He's available.
Byron Murphy. So if you go Byron Murphy and you took Fuaga, now, I mean, you really are investing in the trenches.
I think they would be playing bully ball. I think this is the play. I like Troy Franklin fine, but he's under 6 foot. Or excuse me, he's not under 6 foot. I was thinking of maybe the kid from Georgia. But again, like, is he somebody that's going to be able to demand, a number 1 corner opposite him in the NFL level? Is he going to be a future number 1 receiver? You'd have to weigh that. I don't think he's a first round caliber receiver right now. Whereas I think Byron Murphy, once we fast forward to the NFL draft, is going to be defensive tackle number 1, and he's going to go top 20. The best defensive line not named Michigan this year belonged to Texas, and the Texas Longhorns have 2 of the 4 best defensive tackles in this class. I know we're taking our medicine here, and it's not sexy, but Patrick Surtain, premium position. Fuaga, premium position at tackle. Byron Murphy, pass rusher, 5 technique, 3 technique, premium position. I mean, like, you are investing in the health and longevity of your roster. You got to figure out what to do at receiver, but I think that's a problem for day 2, Bo.
Yeah, Chase, Brandon, Red Sea, all saying it's an easy pick with Murphy. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And then look, Cardinals are picking 35. I mean, man. There's some temptation here.
Why not? Are you talking about Darius Robinson?
Yeah, because I think, listen, let's just say hypothetically they added a defensive tackle and an edge rusher in free agency that are rotational players. Maybe the D tackle is your blue chipper of free agency. But I think edge rusher, tackle, cornerback, defensive tackle, I mean, you're set now, man. Yeah.
It looks great. I mean, I don't have any issue with that. I mean, you've got some true beef there. It's versatile between, a big guy, Murphy, and then you got a guy who's just as athletic as they come as far as front 7 players going. Darius Robinson. Just scroll down real quick. We'll just see who's available, because, Mitchell's interesting out of Texas, as is Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Chris Jenkins down the line, man. Yeah, Walker's good, but I think that the difference, there isn't that big of a separation between Walker and maybe who would be available for one of those 3 third-round picks. Can you get a Leggett? Could you get a Brendan Rice? I think that's I'd either go Robinson or Jenkins. That's probably my pick to kind
You're
of
not
bolster the
considering
defensive
Keon
front.
Coleman at all.
Probably not. Like I just didn't see the consistency there. And like I said about, Mitchell and Tez Walker, I think that you can find similar wide receivers later in the draft.
Darius Robinson, Patrick Surtain, and Fuega, and Byron Murphy II. The Cardinals do not have players that look like them on their NFL roster. They just don't. Just because the Cardinals have a 53-man roster doesn't mean, some of the parts are equal to the other, franchise in the NFL. I think this is the play. I think Dane Brugler had him roughly about 30-31 today on his top 100. You want to get after Brock Purdy and make him uncomfortable, a la Chris Jones. You want to get after Geno Smith and an aging Matthew Stafford. And then you got to hope that Monty Ossenford can find somebody like a Michael Wilson 2.0 to supplement. And I think he can. And I also think, Trey McBride, Higgy Bear, you make it work in the short term. And the Cardinals, Darius Robinson's the pick, in my opinion.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so here's where things get interesting. The Cardinals have picked 66, 71, 90, and 104. We got to find a receiver at some point, but I don't want to reach here. Roman Wilson out of Michigan is the top receiver available, but he's ranked 73rd via PFF, and never had a 1,000-yard receiving season. Did have 12 touchdowns, but playing in an offense that is run first, second, and third before they opt to throw the football, Bo.
Yeah, he competed out there. Quinyon Mitchell said that was his wide receiver he liked to go up against the Senior Bowl. And you see the size, 6 feet. I like Brendan Rice down the board here too, as well.
Yeah,
like a lot better size at 6'3". Really showed off that he could be physical, play that game. I think that's the wide receiver that you're going to target here with one of your 3 picks. Can you get some value before that, as he's kind of down the draft board a little bit?
I think the play is you hope and pray he gets to pick 71.
What's wrong with
What's wrong with whom?
I was looking at McMillan, but he was down the board a little bit. And that's fine.
Do you have any temptation to double dip with Wilson and Rice back to back here?
I just don't know if Wilson. I don't even think Wilson's better than him. I know that he's competitive, but I don't know if I would put him there.
You worry about the ceiling. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really love any of these players. Maybe the cornerback from Michigan ahead of Rice. Do you just take Rice here?
Let's roll down the board a little bit more.
Yeah, we're getting into the running back zone now. Let's look at some of these players that went off the board already. Ricky
Mari
Purcell.
Thrash is also a good option too. That's why I wanted to wait on wide receiver, because you got a glut of wide receivers here that you could pick from, and continue to focus on maybe some top premium positions.
What do you think? You pull the trigger on a move.
Let's go with. I don't know much about the kid out of Kansas. What are we thinking about the edge?
Yeah. It shocks me that they now still have a competent program at the collegiate level. 9 sacks this year in the Big 12. Had a good game against Texas. 82.3 PFF rating. 6'6", 245. Redshirt sophomore. So he's on the younger side. Austin Booker. I couldn't tell you one thing about him. I didn't watch a lot of Kansas football. He's outside the tackle edge rusher, a pure outside edge rusher that would play opposite Darius Robinson. But again, then you've got B.J. Ojulari. I know there'll be enough snaps and they want to rotate guys, but I don't know. All
right, let's make the pick. Let's either take the edge out of Kansas or the corner out of Michigan, Sanistril.
Let's go with the cornerback. Let's double up here. The Cardinals desperately need corners, and this falls right into our advantage here. Brendan Rice, pick number 71 for the Arizona Cardinals. They get their first wide receiver, not at 4, but at pick 71. Fast forward all the way to pick 90 here. You've taken your medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've hit on every possible need. You've added 2 cornerbacks, including an all-pro. You've added a right tackle. You've added a defensive tackle. You've added an edge rusher. And now are you in a position to say, I'm going to splurge a little bit. I'm going to get a running back?
Yeah, I think you look either guard or you can look running back. What's the guard situation? Any of the top
Mahoney
guys?
out of Boston College is a really good player. And Rook out of Clemson is excellent as well. I mean, I think he has to be in consideration.
There's Cooper Beebe there, who's a favorite of ours. Let's go with Beebe and then look into the running back spot.
I like that pick a lot. Cooper Beebe, who I do have in the first 2 rounds of my mock draft. Drop it at gophnx.com later tonight. Pick 104 now. Bucky Irving is the best available running back here. Let's go ahead and isolate this. Kid out of Notre Dame. Good player. These are probably the 2 that make the most sense. I'm not a Will Shipley fan. Bucky Irving, a little undersized. I think he's about 5'10". Yep, absolutely. 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. So I don't love these backs enough.
I think Braylon Allen's a great prospect at 20 years old, coming out of a school that produces a lot of great backs in Wisconsin. But I mean, you could hold off even there. I mean,
they devalue him a little bit. I think he's probably worth the top 100 pick. If I have no problem taking Braylon Allen at 105.
It's whatever your taste is. Johnny, you pull the trigger on which back you want, man. Bucky would be a good play. I don't disagree with that.
You don't think he's too small?
No, 5'10". He's running back.
I know, but he's 200 pounds. Yeah, he is a good player. Damn, he had a monster season. Look at that. 1,200 yards, 1,100 yards, 6.4 yards per touch at Oregon. All right, we'll take the value. Bucky Irving at pick 105 is good value. If he busts, he's a 4th rounder. Who cares?
The chat like Braylon Allen there, but
okay, that's fine. I mean, I
just looked up and saw that. Yeah.
Do we ever get Bomo back on the screen here? I think this is going to be a B+ in a draft where you got Patrick Surtain and a future 1, as well as those first 3 picks and Patrick Surtain. I mean, Jonathan Gannon gets an edge rusher, a D lineman, Patrick Surtain, a future 1, his right tackle of the future, his CB2 potentially or 3 of the future. I mean, that's an incredible haul. That if there's ever a scenario in which you can't get Marvin Harrison Jr., this is probably my favorite of all the drafts we've done. Would you agree with that?
Big old boys. Yeah, absolutely. Love what we did as far as the offensive and defensive fronts. It's what people have been craving, for far too long in the desert. And I like this one. I think it's better than a B+. Starting left guard of the future, as you mentioned, and your right tackle to go with your left tackle that's already under contract for the next few seasons, and then some beef up front between Murphy and Robinson. I really like it. I think it's fantastic. So, of course, our friends over at Empire Today, they fuel our mock drafts, building our empire today. That was a good one. Didn't want to do it, but PFF Simulator, it's the AI. It's next thing I know, it's going to be trying to take over the world. It's gone rogue, and I don't really like it.
I look at that mock, and that mock makes me think of how did the Cardinals win against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles? Running the football, being physical, and I love the high-flying Cardinal offense of years past and touchdowns and the Hail Murray, but what the Cardinals were probably the most efficient they've ever been in a rebuilding year in the months of December and January, because they played a certain style of football that is more predicated to succeeding in those months. Why did the Lions reach the NFC Championship game? Why did the Chiefs, jumpstart their season? Run game, defense, pass rush, right? So I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is an anomaly. He's an outlier. You take him, obviously, if he's there. But if Monty Austinford wants, and I've been going back and forth with this, but if he wants to pivot and just say, Marvin's our guy, and if our guy's not available, our draft strategy is going to change, and it's going to change back into what worked last year. Tackle at 3, pass rusher in the 2nd round, corner, right? Then we'll take a big physical receiver. I'm fine with that, because this franchise, as you've noted many times, Bo, you still have to take your medicine. You have to have your meat and potatoes. The Cardinals roster as much as we're high on this season, is not in a position to say we can splurge here and there. No, they have no defensive line, right? They have no cornerback room outside of Garrett Williams and a couple undrafted free agents and Keitrell Clark in the 6th round. They need help everywhere.